Hi, my name is Penny Owen. Welcome back to Successful Kids, Successful Schools. Today we're going to talk about Best Year Ever and the elements of Best Year Ever. We're going to focus on the importance of a shared vision. And I'm going to talk about this for 2 seconds because about my experience with being in Bill's class. So I ended up getting a doctorate, which I didn't talk about, but I wanted to say, how do I use drama in the classroom? And it ended up being in anthropology, which is a long story, but drama didn't have anything that was related to using drama in a classroom or drama. I mean, they had children's theater, but it wasn't what I was looking for. I knew what I was looking for. And so this is sort of interesting, I guess, about me. So to get my doctorate in anthropology, I had to give up my tenured job in teaching at a community college, which was a big deal. And my greatest fear was I was going to get my doctorate and be a bag lady on the street because I didn't get my doctorate until I was 55 years old. But it was important. I knew what direction I was going and what I wanted to accomplish. And so the man who was the assistant superintendent at Waverly Schools, I'm going to say his name because I love him to this day, Dan Pappas, loved me.
Yeah. My first principal
Yeah.
that hired me, I love him too. He's a
Loved me.
great man.
And when I came to him and said, okay, I have to work for a year in the field, which means I have to quit my job to do this. And can you help me? And I need a third grade class, a fourth grade class, and a fifth grade class. I already knew Bill, and Bill had already said yes. So I had my fifth grade class all figured out. These three teachers were so drastically different, I can't tell you. The third grade teacher was so individual instruction that her class was not a class. I mean, kids did whatever they wanted to do. And I loved her, mind you, but it was weird. The fourth grade teacher, who I also liked very much, was a brand new teacher and was strict and, following the rules and whatever. And then I came into Bill's class, and Bill's class was the best year ever. And I didn't come in right away, but I mean, I wasn't there on the first day. I came in sort of in like November, and oh my God, it was like a different world. I walked in where I didn't have, usually when I go into a classroom, I have to build teamwork. I have to build concentration. I have to, all that skill building, I have to start at the beginning. But in Bill's class, it was already there. So I became like a total believer in Best Year Ever and the importance of a shared vision where the whole class believed that they could actually create a best year ever for every single kid in that classroom. So I'm going to let Bill talk mostly this time. And I'm going to start by saying, why does it have to start on day one?
Well, again, it doesn't have to, but for me, it was my goal. And I would say anybody else that wanted to do something like that, I think day one's a great day because everybody's nervous and they're looking for a new beginning. Like I said in the last episode, they're looking for maybe if they've struggled a chance, or is this going to be another good year if they've had great years in the past? Because best year ever is not competitive with anybody else. Every year should be your best year ever, right? But my point is that I think that's where you get their attention right away before they come in with their mind of what their vision is so set and like it's going to be like last year, it's going to be just like this. I want to rock them off of that, something that's going to jolt them to look at something in a whole different way if they really need it, or if they've liked it before, they're going to like this even as much or more in some ways maybe. And so I think that's a great day to capture their attention, and they're really listening with their heart too. They're really wanting it,
But technically I could start later.
You could.
But it would be harder because I've already created.
Establish rules that weren't there or procedures that weren't
Right.
there.
So all
Yeah.
of that would have to be.
Yeah, instead of having to retrain them, you're training them once. You're getting, it's like if I come into a boot camp and I'm working with a football team and they're teaching me all the plays and everything, and then I get traded to another team, it's going to take a while for me to get up to speed because I got to learn all their plays and all their rules and all their procedures, and so it's kind of some wasted time there,
Right.
And so what I'm trying to do is get them all right, fresh. It's a new beginning, really hit them hard with that part of it. And this is what we're going to build this
Right.
year.
And I may have already created some negative habits.
You could have, and
So then I have to get rid of the negative rather than starting fresh.
yeah, I think so. And I think that it seems more authentic in a way if you come in and say, this is not just what I'm doing, but why I'm doing it. And that's why you tell them you care. And I tell them about my struggles in school and why, I became a teacher. I want them to start getting to know me, that I've been in your shoes, believe it or not. It'd be harder to get them to believe that today if they're looking at me. But,
Yeah,
you had
true.
school back then? Well, they're in caves, but anyway, so I'm trying to get them to realize that I've been in your shoes and it was a hard time for me. And I don't want that for you. That's one of the reasons why I became a teacher and one of the reasons why I'm still in teaching, because that's my passion, is trying to help uplift, motivate, empower you, or energize and entice you to really get excited about school, because school should be fun. It's a place where you learn new things and just create a love of learning. And so, so I think day one's the best time to get them.
Yeah. Okay. And
And
the
on
shared.
the first day, on the first day, they're so nervous they don't misbehave while you're talking to them. They do, because they're just like, oh God, new person,
Yeah, yeah.
So you got them, you got the audience. So why not
Okay.
take advantage?
So the shared vision is best year ever.
It is. That
is the shared vision.
It's this. I call it the shared vision, mission, and year-long theme for me.
Right. And
Yeah.
the shared vision is yours.
It is. And people say, well, wait a minute, that's not shared if it's your vision. Well, it is, because, I think of again, football or any sport. Izzo's a good one because I like Izzo.
I love it.
I know you like Izzo too. So for MSU basketball, amazing guy. He will tell his team in the first meeting what his expectations are based on who he has sitting in front of him. And if they're a young team, he's not going to come in and say, we're going to win the national championship this
Right.
year. He might say, we're going to win the Big Ten and go into if possible, the Sweet 16, with this lineup. And who knows, maybe we can go further, but that's what we're aiming for. And he builds up why that's important for the next year to maybe take it to the next
Right.
level.
He also, God, I hate sticking on him, but I love him so much.
Yeah.
He also is going to build men.
Yes.
And he's going to build men with character.
Yes.
And he's going to build men with skills about how to work together. I mean, this whole thing about, it's not a year, what is it called? 1 year and out.
Yeah, no.
Right? It is, you are here for 4 years.
Yes.
And I promise you these things. And this is a vision
Yes.
of you as an adult man.
Yes.
Which is just astounding, the importance of a shared vision.
It is. And I also want them to know that they always have me. I say to them, once you have me as your teacher, I'm always going to be in your corner because you're always on my team. You're a teammate for the rest of our lives,
Oh, I love that.
I'm leading right now, so you have to respect that I have to make decisions that sometimes you may disagree with, but I'm doing it for the best interest of us moving forward. But from that point on, next year, I'm always in your corner to always, whatever you need, come talk to me. We can, privately, and you'll be amazed how many people that still contact me on social media to say, Mr. Cecil, how are you doing? Or people will come up to me and say, I'm still working to have my best year ever every year. It's stuck in their head and they're in their 40s. I get the biggest
love
kick
that.
out of that. So, yeah.
Okay. So I the tipping point, that
Yes,
Malcolm Gladwell book, that like there's a point at which.
it is.
So my thing is, okay, I don't say I'm a teacher and I don't teach in a great suburban school where I have great parents. I teach I'm a really rotten school
Yeah.
where all the kids have an attitude that goes, yeah, prove it to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So prove it to me. So my thing is, you come in the first day
Yeah.
and you're full of vim and vigor and whatever
Every day.
every
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
That's your job every day.
Yeah, because why would I not? It's if how can I come in and get them excited if I'm not excited? And it's not acting. It's I truly get excited about getting them excited about learning. And so it's a commitment, but it's worth it because it makes it what I want it to be.
Okay, and I mean, I'm relating this to a story that I told when I was working with the kids in prison.
Yeah.
When they were hanging on the wall,
Yeah.
and I'm going to play some stupid game
Right.
that I thought for sure they were going to go,
Right.
I mean, this is stupid.
Right.
And I'm just pulling them off the wall and going, well, we're going to do this.
Yes.
So my thing is, there must be a percentage of kids in this imaginary school,
Yeah.
where the kids are all, I hate school, I hate teachers.
Yeah. I was pretty much like that.
But say every kid in the classroom is
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
So how many kids do you need for the tipping point?
Man, here's the thing. I'm like, and I don't want to say this. I have so much confidence in what I was doing in my classroom because I tried to think out and I was always fixing things. Always. I never got to, I'm there. I don't have to do anything. Just come in and show up. Every day I'm trying to make the team better. Even, and Izzo would do the same thing. Every day he's trying to be
yeah.
a better coach. I'm trying to be a better teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's part of what you're trying to do. So, for me, I never worried about things like a tipping point. I looked at it as I'm going to get so many kids excited on the first day, and then I work hard. Remember, this isn't just a one-day thing. I call it the first 10 days and 30 days, 10 to 20 or 30 days is I call it setting the table for success. And I'm pounding away on that even as I'm teaching. So I'll work these 4 things in every day. And that is shared vision, promoting the shared vision, taking time to build the team and tell, to teams why we need diversity on our team and how people have different things to add to the team. So don't compare yourself to anyone else and think that they get, I think more of them because they get good grades on that, but you don't. That's just something they're good at. But it's the effort I'm looking for. That's why it's one of the 3 words, attendance, attitude, and effort. The third one is procedures. Winning teams have procedures. They know they don't have to think about what to do. They just do it because it becomes a habit. Like when I used to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work because I'd go in super early. I'd get up at 4, work out. So I was ready to go when they came in every day with that vigor you're talking about. That I'm awake, I'm ready to go. I've worked out, I'm excited. I was doing that even like when I was in my 50s, still doing it. And that's probably why I decided to retire at some point. I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing that. But the point is that procedures, what it does is you don't have to think about things. So when I'd get up in the morning at 4, I'd walk the dog, feed the dog, go downstairs, work out, drive to work. Hopefully by that time I'm paying more attention. But sometimes I'd get to work and go, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Like I was tired when I woke up.
Well, I'm going to talk about procedures in your class.
Yeah.
Because especially at the end of the day, and I'm going to relate it to theater too.
Yeah.
So in theater, your rehearsal space, you must start with an empty space.
Yes.
Everything has to be clean, spotless, right? And then at the end of rehearsal, you have to put it back to that empty space. And what was interesting was that you employed that same thing in your classroom. Like at the end of the day, because I was always there at the end of the day. I always came in after lunch.
Yep.
These kids, without saying a word,
Right.
without you're telling them anything,
Right.
turned that space. It was immaculate.
They had jobs,
and everybody did their
appointed
jobs
to themselves
and
at
everybody
their
put their
tables.
chairs up on their desks, and they swept their floor. And I mean, it was clean so that the custodian didn't have to do squat.
And that's the key. They knew a why. And I was saying, because you're on a team, you have to also respect other people that are on our team that don't get any credit at all.
Right, like the janitor.
The custodians work their rear ends off, guys. Those bathrooms, I can't imagine what they would look like if they didn't do their job as well as they do it.
Right.
Or keep these halls clean or that. So we have to show them we respect them, and this is how we can do it. And they came in one day and brought my team an award and said, you're the only class that does this, and we're like, well, you guys deserve this.
Totally amazing.
We made Christmas cards for our bus drivers. We would help the custodians pick up the chairs at the end of a assembly, help set up and tear down the chairs because they trust my kids wouldn't mess around. I wouldn't have the whole class down there doing it, but I'd have teams that it was their turn. They earned it an incentive that they could go down and help the custodian, and the custodian loved it because he's like, you guys saved me like 30 minutes of doing this by myself.
Right.
But see, it's respect. It's saying hi to the cafeteria workers and say thank you every time they give you something.
Right.
Don't take it for granted. Don't just grab it.
And
say
your
thank you.
classroom, it's respect for that space.
Right.
That we are going to
Absolutely.
when we walk in
Right.
at the beginning of the day,
Right.
that space is clean.
Right.
We're starting fresh every day.
When you have a clean space, you respect yourself more and what you're doing more. And
Yeah.
so, and I'll tell you why I know that. I went to an inner city school in Detroit that they had to lock my car up in a cage when I came up. This was, way back in the 2003, 2004. And I had to ring a buzzer for them to come out and get me and let me in the door once I got in the cage, because you tell them who you are and show your ID or whatever.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
No, and I went in there. I have to be honest. Because there were buildings burnt out. Like every third house was like gone or burnt out, or
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
it was a hard neighborhood. But when I walked in that school, you talk about feeling like the magic of reading the energy. It was like, first impression was, this is the cleanest school I've ever been in. The floor shined like they were waxed every night.
That's
almost.
so interesting.
I went to the secretary, and she was like, "Mr. Cecil, we've been waiting for you. Please take a seat." I'm like, you know my name. I didn't even have to say hi. And so,
Well, and it's also, we're offering those kids from that horrible neighborhood a different environment.
yes, in fact,
a clean environment.
the kids were called by their last names. Because I said, why do you do that? Because it's respect.
Right.
Mr. Cecil,
Miss so-so,
Miss
Mr.
So-and-so, what can I
So.
do for you today?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I actually stayed longer than I was invited, because I asked them if I could and walk around a couple of classrooms. They said, be our guest, go for it. And it was true in every single room. The kids were locked in, they were focused. And I was like, I wish this was a school that could be on TV and show
Oh my
everybody.
gosh. And that goes back to best year ever school.
Yeah.
Rather
There
than
it
not
is.
just a classroom,
There
but
it
the
is.
whole
And the
school.
principal's the one I talked to finally and said, how did you do this?
And
And she goes, well, I asked other people, like the teachers, how's this happening? We have a great principal. I'm like, really? Tell me more. I went and sat with her for a while, and I said, I can see why your staff talked you up pretty big. I said, this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. And she said, thank you. I said, I'd literally eat off your floors. I mean, they're so clean, and just everything in this building is clean, and everybody's so respectful.
Yeah.
Everyone.
and we're really focusing on procedure, so I want
It
to go
is
back.
procedures.
There's a book, and I think this guy's name is McCraven,
Yeah.
who wrote it's advice from the bulldog or something like that.
Yeah.
And he maintains the very first thing you do when you get up in the morning is make your bed.
And I do that every
Make
morning.
your bed, clean your room so that you are leaving that space.
We would do that. We would leave to go to gym class, music class, whatever, lunch. We would clean up our desks. The room was spotless when they left, and they'd come back into a spotless room. So they already felt like
Perfect.
I loved playing on a clean soccer field. I loved playing on doing plays on a set that looked really nice.
Right.
So, I mean, it ups your game. It just does. And so I want to up their game without ever telling them all that's why I'm doing it so much. It's just like, guys, it's just we show respect when we do that to each other and to what we're doing and who
Totally.
we are and to the school. And so,
So wait, so I
it's
interrupted
doable.
you.
Yeah.
You were on procedures.
Oh, number 4, the fourth,
Sorry.
that's okay, is management. You gotta manage your team. And the way I use management is this. It's you can't lead until you can manage your team, and you can't teach until you can manage your team. It doesn't mean discipline necessarily, like nail them down and with a paddle and all that, but you have to have a room that feels safe for them. I have a dog. We go up north. It would run after any squirrel, anything that moves. It would run and never look back for 5 or 6 miles. And we can't have fences up there because we're on water up north. And so we had to get an invisible fence. This was for our old dog, and we have it for our new dog. But what happened is they put an underground cable, and so that the kids know the boundaries, or the dogs know the boundaries, I'm sorry, and for our dog. And we would have flags to let the dog know, don't cross that line. And we'd shake it when they're being trained and say, no, no, no. And it had a collar on that would beep. So they'd hear the beep and me yelling, no, no, back, back. So what happens is when they go back outside and they hear that
How
buzz,
big a shock would they get?
no, this was just a beep. Like it would just beep when I would shake
But
it.
if they went,
If they did cross it, because I held on to it once, I had the same question. I don't want to hurt my dog.
yeah.
It felt like when you were a kid, did you ever put like aluminum on your cavities? Like where it felt like it was vibrating like
Yeah,
a little
okay,
bit?
okay.
It felt like more like a vibration.
Okay.
But it made you uncomfortable. Like, what is that?
Okay.
Yeah. And
It's
so
like a little shock.
oh, yeah. I mean, it was nothing, but enough that they know that's not good. And they say you got to be outside and give them praise when they come back to you. Like, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. we take our dog up there, our old dog and the new dog we take up there. Now they're so well trained, Pavlov's dogs, we don't even put the collar on them sometimes. They just go outside and they never leave the boundaries. Even if there's a pack of dogs running in front of them, even if they don't go because they're trained in their mind, don't go past that line.
And this is management.
Now, but this is management because if I have a new teacher, I tell this to every teacher, you're going to be tested. Every principal, you're going to be tested. Any job you go into, if you're in leadership position, you're going to be tested. Why? Not because they're bad people. It's because they want to stretch the boundaries out as far as they possibly can, because the further they go out, the easier their life is. They don't have to worry about too much. But if you can close the boundaries into a certain area and say, this is where nobody's going to get hurt, right? This is safe for everybody. Now what you get to do is you get to know what those boundaries are after 30 days. You'll never think about them again. And we can have a great time every day coming in here playing safely, knowing that we're playing within our boundaries. And so I don't even have to discipline very much. Beginning of the year, when I write down rules that have been in, people didn't follow, it's on a pad of paper just to keep track. It's almost like 10% of that by the end of the month. And then the rest of the year, it might even be lower at times. It might go up sometimes, but it's just a glitch, and then it goes back down because we'll make an adjustment in the classroom. Guys, there's a check on the board that we're going to lose. If we get 2 more, we're going to lose our incentive for Friday to go out and do a team building activity for 20 minutes, which is like getting them to eat their vegetables because that's going to help them be a better team. So, yeah, it works it's how you handle these things. Management doesn't have to be harsh. It just has to be the fact that I give more incentives than I do takeaways. And so,
Got it.
Yeah, you can earn something.
Which brings me to.
And it's not doggy treats. People say it's doggy treats. Here's why it's not. It's doggy treats for the first 30 days. But look at the pro athletes. If you make it to the playoffs, you get this kind of a bonus. You go to the Super Bowl, you get this kind of a bonus. You're playing for that extra bonus. In my classroom, if we can have our best year ever, you know what their big prize is? I give them a picnic the last day of school, and we in the half day outside, I bring in the grill, cook the burgers, I buy all the food. We play kickball with another team, my partner's team. We get popsicles because it's hot out. You got to have popsicles when you're playing kickball. And so I would build this up like it was the biggest. They thought they were the luckiest kids in the world. The first 30 days, I'd bring it up every day. This is what we're working for. Yeah, it's going to be fun, Mr. Cecil. And then you know what? I never bring it up again, and neither do they until we have it, because they're like, I forgot all about that.
Okay, I want you to go through this thing about it takes 30 days to make it a habit.
Yes.
But then you had the first day, and then you had a week too, right?
Right. Because
what were those things?
The first day, what you're doing is you're giving them time to grow. So you're giving them incentives sooner the first 10 days, but you're getting
10 days.
You're getting these 4, setting the table for success strategies planted and in place and being practiced every day. Now you got it up and running, but now you got to keep it running for 30 days to make it a habit. So you don't have to manage it so much.
So you have the first day, the first 2 weeks, and then the 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. How much time? Okay. So I have a principal who is a jerk, say.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And that principal's obsessed with, you're supposed to be doing this. Like, there is now a thing that says, I have teachers who say to me, I was told that the principal should be able to go from my classroom to the next 4th grade classroom
and see the exact same thing.
That's
not what it is, because that's not the way I would do it. In fact, I would frown down upon that, because every teacher's different, and you want them to have their own personality. That's why I'm saying don't do it like me. If you like any of my ideas, adopt them and adapt them for your style and for your kids' needs and things like that.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get that in authentic,
right,
being an authentic human being.
Principals loved it. My principals, and I had several, loved it. I'll tell you why. Because I would never send my kids to the principal, and they knew this, unless it was going to hurt. They were doing something to hurt someone else, hurt themselves, or somebody was threatening to hurt them. That person I would send to the office and say, we can't have that on this team. Anything else, we settle in here, because it goes back to my conflict resolution. I follow it too.
Right.
So I don't do just go to the office 3 before I send them down to the office, and they know that. This is your first warning. This is your second warning. This is your third warning. I might have to send you down to the office, talk to a principal. And the thing is, it never happened, maybe once or twice.
And it was only because of fear of violence.
Why is that? Oh, well, violence. Yeah, hurting themselves. Self-hurt, harm, or somebody else. Yes.
Would be a reason to send them to the office.
If they said something like, for example, I never let the word shut up. You couldn't say shut up in my room. You couldn't say like, stupid, dumb, things like that. And they'd ask me, why Mr. Cecil? And I'm like, everybody says it. I'm like, sucks is another one. I said, you know why? Because you get comfortable with that one and then you take it up a notch to get a
That's
reaction
true.
from somebody. So we're not even going to have it, guys. And you know what? You're going to like being in a room where you don't hear that. But so the first few months or first 20, 30 days, I'm definitely going, that's just a reminder. We don't do that in here. Remember? Good. Now, after that, they know there might be a slight punishment or a mark that goes
After
away from
30
an incentive.
days.
After 30 days.
Okay.
And I don't have it. And when I do have to send a kid to the principal, my principals loved me because they'd say, you take care of all your problems. You never have kids come down. I go, I don't have a lot of problems. But yeah, we take care of our own business down there unless it's really something dangerous or serious. I send them to you. And they said, that's why we always take your kids right away. Because when you send a kid down,
There was a problem.
There was a major problem. Because you don't just send kids down to send them down.
Okay. And really, this a day, a week, or no, a day, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. There weren't that many activities that were taking time out of your classroom teaching.
Mm-mm.
It was
bought me more.
Oh, that's interesting.
It bought me more. I had a woman, true story. First time I ever went to share my ideas with other people. It was about 13 years into my career. I went to St. Louis, Missouri, to share at a conference. It was I forgot, but it was a character ed conference, and I went down there, and they let me have a booth to sell my book, and they let me speak to a breakout session, and it was the first time I spoke. My dad went down with me. That's what made it special, and so he wanted to see what I was doing. So I went down there and I spoke, and at the end I said, "These are the 4 setting the table for success."
Right.
Some woman goes, I'll never forget her name, Peggy. She goes, "Bill, Libby." She goes, "Bill, I gotta ask you something. How do you find time to teach these 4 strategies? Because in Missouri we got to teach, and we don't have time."
Right, that's the question I was asking.
We don't have. She said it 5 times. We don't have time to do this. Now, I like your ideas, I really do, but I can't do them. Just because we got this test coming. And I said, well, I got to tell you, in Michigan, we have the same stress on us. We have that responsibility. We got to get ready for those tests. I get it, but I guarantee you, if you do it, I think you'll find you'll have more time to teach. That was the end of the conversation. She called me in May. That was in August. She called me in May and said, is this Bill Cecil's house? And she asked my wife, and she goes, it is. Can I talk to your husband? And I'm thinking, oh, somebody's pissed off about something. Did they call me from Missouri? What's going on? She said, Bill, you may remember me. My name's Libby. And I said, Libby, I remember you. How you doing? Everything going well? She goes, well, I just got to tell you something. I am 7 weeks further in my teaching curriculum than I've ever been in my entire teaching career. And I said, how long have you been teaching? 19 years. I'm further, 7 weeks further. And I said, she's thanking me. I said, don't thank me, thank you. That makes me feel good that my stuff's working. I mean, what did you do? And she's explained, I did exactly what you said. But I got to tell you, after that first month, she said, I didn't have to put out brush fires every day. Instead of putting out brush fires every day, I got to teach. And that saved me so much time, because when it takes kids off track, it takes just as long to get them back on track or longer. And so all that wasted time doesn't happen in my classroom anymore. I get to go in and do what I wanted to enter this profession to do, which is teach. And my kids get to learn. And I said, there it is. I said, you nailed it. I said, I'm going to use that. And I do. That's why I'm talking about it right now.
Tell that story. So it's time for us to end this episode. Next time, when we come back in a week, we're going to talk about how to build that team. So this was a shared vision. I'm going to spend 1 second talking about, in my program, we also have a shared vision. Mm-hmm. I call mine a community of heroes, where these community of heroes build a world, create a world of their own. Mm-hmm. So first they become a community of heroes, seeing everybody as a hero, and then they build their world. So shared vision is crucial to what both of us do. We are both believers in these steps that we're going to talk about in the next few weeks. Okay, thank you very much, and we're out. Bye.